What's going on, guys, and welcome to part two of the alternator project for putting 3 alternators on the Blazer. I apologize for not getting a speedy part two out for you guys, but sometimes life gets in the way. I was in training for a week and I wasn't able to get this done and uploaded and everything else, and then obviously when I come home I have things to do. So today I'm off and I'm getting this put together for you. So if you liked part one, stick around for part two, because there is definitely maybe a few choice words that's said in that, trying to get this thing put together. But in the end, it does go together and it works. So if you like part one, or if you like any of my videos, I suggest you hit that like and subscribe button and give my videos a chance. Check them out. Maybe you can learn some new stuff. So without further ado, here's part two. All right, back at it a couple days later here where I left off. I had this all taken apart and I had my power steering pump on there. I believe I did. And I went to put the bracket on and I was running into problems with the bracket fitting correctly with the power steering pump. Now the problem I was running into is the shape of this power steering pump, particularly right in through here, was hitting the bracket. So I thought, well, I got this other pump, I'll throw it on there and use it. Well, I think it'll work, but the problem is this return line is different, and this return line was hitting on the bracket that's on the block already, and it was not allowing it to, these two nuts or these two bolts to go in the bracket. So I was like, well, man, what am I going to do now? So I went to AutoZone and we went through a crap ton of pumps, and I think we found one that's going to work. I believe it's the same alignment. I got to get it out yet. It's sitting right here. The pressure line's here. The return line comes out right here. So I think that will allow me to put it on the bracket here. So let me get that out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about here. This is the new pump. It all looks the same. Return line's in the same, or the pressure line's in the same spot. But here's the return line I was talking about. It doesn't come out of the middle, almost the middle on this one here, and then wraps around. This one comes out right here. So hopefully this one will work. We'll see here momentarily. All right, down here, this backside bracket, I just got it, whoop, about dropped my phone. I just got it sitting on here now, but as you can see, they line up in that backside bracket here. So now I need to see if the bracket will fit on the front of it, which I believe it will. Hopefully it will. My God, I hope it will. But I'm going to put a nut on this, tighten it by hand here, and then we'll see if this other bracket goes on and fits like it's supposed to. So this is what I figured out, and I'm not real happy. This bracket is not the right bracket. This bracket is for what I'm finding, a 2-barrel 4.3, and I need it for fuel injection 4.3. So I'm not necessarily blaming it on the junkyard, but they didn't ask me that question. But I need a different GM part number. I got the GM part number, and I'm doing my best to track one down as quick as I can already. It is the 26th of May. We're talking less than 2 weeks before I pull out for Slamology. So this is where I sit. Now, I got this other new power steering pump on. I may not need it, but at this point it's on there. I may not change it. I may just leave it and go with it, because it's already on there. I've already paid for it. I've already scratched it and all that stuff putting it on. I doubt they take it back, so I'm just out that money right there. But you know, probably wouldn't hurt to have a new pump on here anyways. That looks like the original pump that was on it. So
this project is delayed again until I can find this correct bracket. I've already started contacting some of my resources, and I got them on the look, but it's Memorial Day weekend and nothing's going to be open until Tuesday. It's Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday, Memorial Day, so nothing's going to be open until Tuesday. So damn. But these are things that you run into sometimes. Don't know until you tear into it. So until I can get the correct bracket, I'll have this one for sale if anyone wants to buy it. But anyways, project's on hold. I'll go back to working on my doors and buttoning up my wiring and my fusing. Okay, what I'm doing now, since I'm on a hunt for another bracket, is I got other things to get done, so might as well get it done because this is part of the alternator project. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all my runs off because I'm going to redo those and try to clean these wires up and make them look nicer. So I took my bracket off. I'm going to clean up my grounds on each alternator, and I'm going to clean up my grounds and battery connections here, because you can see this isn't good. This is oxidation and a little bit of corrosion both, and what that's from is general oxidation from sitting outside, because I don't have a garage to put this in 24/7. And then you're going to get some corrosion because these are two different metals. This is copper and aluminum, so you're going to have some I guess chemical reaction. It's going to cause some problems. So what you want to do is you want to clean these up frequently, so you have the best connections that you have, the best connections that you can get. That way there's no resistance and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get these cleaned up. I got my fuse holders pulled. So I got everything unhooked here. I got my bracket off the top. I'm going to touch it up, paint it up, put it back on. I'm going to install new bolts here because those were starting to corrode too, just from general oxidation. So we'll put some new ones in there. That way we know we have good, clean contacts with clean metal. That way we know we're getting the best current flow, best grounds, all that good stuff. Because as you know, you want to keep your voltage up as much as you can, and that's part of what can cause some voltage drop. So we'll get these cleaned up. Like I said, this is part of the alternator project, so we'll put this in the video here. So I'm going to continue to get these cleaned up. I'm going to pull these terminals off. I'm going to get them cleaned up real good. I'm going to get these cleaned up real good. I might redo some of them. I don't know yet. Depends on how many ends I have. But we're going to get these all cleaned up and see what we can make it look like. Okay, as you got these off, and as you can see, the posts, they're not too bad. Could be worse, could be better. And then the actual blocks, the ground ain't too bad, or the positive here ain't too bad. We'll get it cleaned up now. The ground is terrible. The ground is terrible, and so were the bolts that hold those in. They're rusting pretty bad. So we're going to replace these bolts. I got another one of these, the positive one that I don't use. So we'll just take the bolts out of it. We'll clean this up the best we can and see what they look like. So getting these cleaned up, and I guess I never bothered to notice until I started scrubbing or trying to clean these up. Guess I just never really paid attention. These must have like a clear coat on them. That's underneath the clear coat because they're clean. As you can see, I cleaned up that terminal and that post, and I cleaned out the mounting holes. Let me pick this up that I dropped here. But this is what I was saying. These have a clear coat on them because I could not get these to clean up that well, and I had to take a wire brush to them. So I think I took that clear coat off, which is fine. I'll live with it. And I got the new bolts in it. So when I finish getting that cleaned up, And I want to show you guys an example of how corroded these get. These are my grounds, some of my grounds, without cleaning them up. And then here's one cleaned up. So if you could tell the difference that makes, that's going to make a big difference, believe it or not, voltage wise, with a good clean ground. I got the bracket off, the top air, I'm going to replace those. I got all those wires off. So after I get some more of this done, I'll check back in. Okay, we're back, and I've got the correct bracket. I found one. I actually had to order it off eBay. Paid a little bit of expedited shipping to get it here, but it's here. And it is the correct one. It will go on. Now the problem I was running into is let me find it here. This is my backside bracket that is stock on the 03 here. Now I didn't know that this was going to be different, but I can't use this bracket. This bracket won't interchange with this. So luckily, I had an old bracket that fits here that bolts onto the manifold, the exhaust manifold. So I got very, very lucky there. So I got that on there now, but I'm learning as I go doing this. I think I'm going to have to actually put my alternator bracket on first and then put the pump on and feed it up through the bottom. It's the way it's looking from the way I've looked at some things and the way what I've looked at online. So this is where I'm at now. I've got the right bracket. I've got this. Now I just got to figure out the correct way to put it together, because I could put the pump on this way, but then I don't think I can get my bracket down over it. So I'm going to have to finagle this and figure this out. So let me check back with you when I figure this out. Okay, so it's on, and that's what I had to do, was I had to take it up from underneath the bracket. I had to leave the bracket just a hair loose and feed it up through. But that was much easier because I took my air box and breather hose off, and it leaves me so much more room here. It was so much more easier to get working in there. So I got, I think, 2 more bolts to get in front of this alternator bracket, which are down on the bottom. Here, I can move this. This goes over here anyways. So I got 2 all the way down there I got to get yet. Down in here. There's 2 down there, and that is all of them that holds it on. So I got the 3 in the top, I got 2 more in the bottom to get, and I got my 3 for the front of the pump done. And like I said, this bracket is the bracket that you need for the rear. And it goes over the manifold. So, we are in like Flint now. I'm going to go get these other bolts in, and I'm going to get out my press, and we will press this power steering pulley back on. So hang tight. Alright, so I got the pulley on. I got the bottom bolts in, everything's tightened, everything's square. Try to go ahead and set this down in here, and I ran into another problem. Now this other bracket that I had to use, I don't know how well I can get in here. It's hitting the alternator, not letting it swing down to that other ear. So waiting for the neighbor to come back. He just took off up the road on a side-by-side. See if he's got a side angle grinder. We can cut that off, and I can go ahead and swing that on down there. But man, all this and now that. So, see if we can get that taken care of. Get this thing bolted up, or at least mocked up. Because I want to see what my belt's going to look like in a pulley situation and all that. So, and now it sounds like he's coming down the road, so I'm going to go holler at him. I don't know if you can hear him or not, but he's running across the street to his house. This is the bracket that's stopping everything now. So what we're going to have to do, try and cut this at an angle. See if we can get as much of that off as we can, because I mean, I don't need that for nothing. So that's not going to hurt nothing. So we're gonna whack that off and see if I can get this thing to swing on down in there and sit pretty. All right, so we got her on. Well, not on, but it's sitting there. We got the bracket cut, and I'm starting to lose light here, so you can see it down here. It didn't look the prettiest, but I'll take some black paint and touch it up so it doesn't look too horrendous. But it's on there. The only problem I have now is, if I get in here, you can see it's not quite lining up with the bracket. And I think that's because originally these are intended for small case and this is a large case, but that's not that big a deal. I could file that out, get a round file and file that a little bit since it's aluminum. I mean, as you can see, it's not off a whole lot. So I'm gonna call that a night for the night, because this has been a fiasco getting this to where it's at today. But damn, doesn't that look mean? I think it does. I think it looks impressive. But yeah, so I'm gonna pick this mess up because I've got crap everywhere, and we'll finish this up tomorrow. Stick around. So okay guys, that's going to be the end of part 2 here. I had to break it up a little bit because quite frankly nobody wants to watch over an hour long videos of a project like such. So break it up in segments here for you. And again, I want to apologize for the time that it took to get this, at least this part uploaded. I know part 3 won't take as long to get up there because like I said, sometimes life gets in the way, and that's just the way it is. YouTube doesn't pay my bills, so until you guys help me over 100,000 subscribers and I get all kinds of watch time, YouTube ain't paying no bills for me. So anyways, that's the end of part 3. As you can see, it's starting to come together, and or that was the end of part 2. Part 3, you will see it all come together, and I appreciate you guys watching. So stick around for the next one. Also got some more demo videos and stuff. It's going to be coming up soon. So I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification to receive my video notifications when my videos are uploaded. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and all other social media. So until next time, guys, bass on.